Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Astro Scribe. This video will explain all aspects of the application, from typical day-to-day usage through to all of the most subtle settings and template creation. Without further ado, let's start with the typical day-to-day experience. When you start using the computer just before an appointment, if the app isn't already visible, a notification will appear on screen, prompting you to begin recording. After confirming, the app will appear and your mouse will automatically focus on the consultations button. Select this and then Initial Consult to begin a regular appointment. Enter the patient's name and then verbalize a brief description of the patient's current complaint and any relevant history if available. If you prefer, you can now safely minimize the app to the background. Then just continue with your appointment as usual. Small talk will be automatically filtered out. It'll even ignore discussions about other patients which are not currently being seen during this consult. Anytime after the appointment, when you come back to your computer, another pop-up will remind you to finish the appointment. Within 30 to 60 seconds, your notes will be ready and automatically copied to your clipboard in the background whilst you complete your PIMS, billing or anything else. You can then press Ctrl and V to paste your notes into the appropriate area in your PIMS software. By the way, whilst these notes are processing, you can even start another appointment and minimize the app again. You can do exactly the same thing for all the other appointment types available. So at the moment we have initial consults, revisits, routine vaccinations, admissions and discharges, as well as phone consultations. Then under procedures we have TPLO, anesthesia, dental or other surgeries, as well as ultrasound and radiology reports. We're also more than happy to add support for more appointment types, just let us know what would help. That's effectively all you need to know to use Astro Scribe on a daily basis. Now, let's talk about the settings. First of all, we have a hover menu on the settings button itself, which is just for easy access to certain options. This option hides notes from other devices, since notes are automatically synced between computers and show up below in the same section as notes made on this device. This option just allows you to change the order the notes appear in the section below. If you get excessively notified about your microphone not working, when you know it does, you can turn those off entirely with this option. If you use EasyVet, you can turn on a special mode for that here. We'll cover that more in detail later. If you'd like to access past notes from within the last 10 days, you can do that using this option. If you'd like to view even older notes than that, you can see them here too. The logs file is accessible here just for convenience, but you'll likely never need to check this. Then, if you want to turn off the notification pop-up we saw earlier, you can do that with this option. And finally, if there's any issue with notes being synced across devices, then you can use this option to fix it. Now, the settings itself. The most important thing is the custom templates, so let's start there. Each appointment type has its own section of templates. Just go through the menu like this, then you have a few options. So for example, if I hover over the soap template here, you can see I can start using this template by clicking here. All that means is when you click on an appointment button, it will copy the appointment using this template. So if I go back to the main screen, you can see when I click on Penny's appointment, it copies that appointment to my clipboard, now using the soap template, whereas before it was using the default template, which is much more detailed. By the way, if you want to quickly copy an appointment using a specific template, but don't want to change which template is being used all the time, then you can just hover over the appointment button, and as you can see, I can just click this button here to copy the appointment using the default template, even though the soap template is set to be used. Okay, now back to the settings menu. The other options are pretty obvious, so you can edit or delete any of the templates here except for the default template. If this style doesn't suit you, the good news is that it's really easy to just create a brand new template that looks exactly how you like it. To do that, we'll select Create New Template, of course. Now I would recommend you just maximize this so it's a bit easier to see everything, so let's do that. Now we have some very basic formatting options at the very top here. Just keep in mind that it unfortunately may look different when pasted into your PIMS if they don't support these options. These formatting options do have corresponding hotkeys as well. Just hover over the buttons for instructions on how to use them. For example, if you'd like these titles in bold, then you can just highlight them and hit Ctrl and B on your keyboard and repeat to undo. This text box here is the actual template, of course. The fields in the curly brackets and highlighted blue will be replaced with their corresponding value in each appointment. To remove a field, you can just backspace it as usual, like this. To input a field, just leave your cursor where you want it to be and click the corresponding button in this section down here. So I'll just put that back in there. Now, if you never mentioned or implied anything about a particular field, then the data inserted will be its default value. You may prefer this to be blank or not applicable or something like that. In which case, you should click this button at the bottom left here to set all default values at once. Then you can alter them individually as well, just by hovering over each field and selecting Change Default Value. Remember to use the Set All Default Values button carefully, as this will override all the others. That's why I recommend using that first. And lastly, just remember to save it, of course. When saving, you'll be asked if you'd like for every computer to use this template for this appointment type. This way you only have to change the setting on just one computer for it to sync across to all the other devices. Now, the next most important factor are the other more subtle style-related features. So let's check those out in the settings menu. I'll close this and open it again so you can see how to navigate to it from scratch. Just navigate to Adjust Style, and here you have all of your more subtle settings which affect the style of the notes. It's unlikely, but on some older devices it can be handy to adjust these spacing between lines settings if when you paste it, it comes out looking different to what you expected. Then we have the option of whether you want your differential diagnoses to be numbered according to the problem list or not. And another more subtle one, if you tick this box, each of the fields of data will be a little more brief and concise, using shorthand notation a little more frequently and things like that. This does not affect the actual template used, only the data filled into each of those fields in the curly brackets we looked at earlier in the template. Lastly, just a pure convenience setting here, so you can quickly switch every single appointment type to use the SOAP template. That's the last of the style associated settings. Now we just have some more generic app settings. So if you happen to be a dermatologist, you can switch between GP and derm appointment types here. If you want to change the name that appears on other devices to describe clearly which computer a note was recorded on, you can do that here. If you find that it's taking a little too long to transcribe the appointment and create the notes after you finish an appointment, adjusting this setting may help tremendously. Then we have some miscellaneous settings. Basically, if you notice that it's annoyingly copying notes to your clipboard at inconvenient times, then you can turn off that auto-copying feature here. Additionally, if you are frequently connecting or disconnecting to new microphones, then you may want to manually select your microphone elsewhere in the settings to make sure that it uses the correct one, as well as turning off this setting. This one is pretty self-explanatory. If you have a lot of devices on the same network, then it might be a little overwhelming to peruse through all the notes, although you can use the search bar at the top here to quickly find them in a pinch. So you can hide those notes. This setting is more easily available via the hover menu here though. That's it. If you have any questions, then please reach out to us. You can easily sign up for a free trial right now and start saving valuable time. Thanks for watching.